This is Brittney Cassi with Organizational Development 6015 with Dr. Steve and Cady, and this is my Collaborative Change Patterns presentation, Draft 1 of the Affinity diagram. The agenda for this presentation is as follows. I'll have an introduction and let you know about whole system collaborative change. I'll describe and define the 8 essential elements in designing a change method. Talk about my process in creating my affinity diagram. And then I'll give you a sneak peek at the draft of my affinity diagram. I'll talk a little bit about what's next in this assignment and, of course, what I've learned. Whole system collaborative change is a high involvement and a systematic approach to improvement. First, you really want to set the stage, establish a shared vision and outcome with everyone involved. And like I said, high involvement. That means getting everyone within the system involved in the change. That's engaging all of the employees. Together, you design new processes, adopt new policies, and stop those old behaviors. Seek continuous feedback and sustain learning and correction. And then all the people, the functions, and ideas are systematically leveraged to create dramatic, sustainable, whole system change. Then we have the 8 essential elements. So the 8 elements are really what makes up all of the different methods, the different change methods. First, we have invitation. So this describes an unmet need and really looks at what the approach is in order to meet that need. Then there's purpose. This ensures mutually desired outcomes. System. This answers the question, who needs to be involved in this change event or activity? Experience. This provides the process for implementation of the change event. Then there's technology. So technology really allows participants to best share with each other in the most efficient way possible. Then there's evidence. Evidence demonstrates interdisciplinary perspectives and empirical validation. And there's values. So values include the core set of principles on how participants should interact with one another throughout the change event. Finally, there's mastery. So mastery describes how we can advance our subject matter expertise in that specific method. Here you can see my thought process on creating my affinity diagram. Like most people, you start with what you know, what's your comfort zone. And my comfort zone just happens to be Excel spreadsheets. I love them. And so I decided what I was going to do was put all the 10 assigned methods down the left-hand side and the 8 essential elements up at the top. As I was reading, I would insert key phrases and words and things that really stuck out to me in the corresponding little boxes. Everything fits nicely in its box. The 10 methods that were assigned to us included abundant community, appreciative inquiry, applied improvisation, future search, graphic facilitation, open space, world cafe, liberating structures, collaborative arts, tea groups, and I added as my optional 11th, gamified learning. After this, it was time to really compare, contrast, and look at the patterns that were associated with each of the methods within those 8 design elements. So I did what a lot of people do is I went to Trello. Trello makes sense. You can color code different things, and I assigned a color for each of the methods. And I went and created 8 different boards, one representing each of the 8 essential design elements. And in those, I did find some keywords and phrases and things that stuck out for me, and so I wrote those down. And I decided, okay, so for example, for purpose, which of these elements really had a community culture, a positive core, emotional experience? And I went and I tagged the different colors and the different methods associated to those colors to each of those elements. And I really did start to see some patterns emerging from that. So what's next? As I work through this patterns assignment, I plan to take 1, 2, 5, 11 more looks into the affinity diagram and really dig into those 8 elements and all the different methods. digital is really efficient, but I'm considering writing out each method and their corresponding elements on Post-it notes to create a more physical puzzle approach to understanding the patterns. Once I'm content with my affinity diagram and the patterns and the different feel that I've gotten for the likes and similarities and differences, then I'll move on to the creation of my mind map. What have I learned? I think I've learned more about myself than I have about the different methods. But I did find similarities and differences, of course, in the assigned methods. But what does that mean? I know that I tend to be a black and white type A thinker. And sifting through these patterns and this assignment, the resources, and creating the affinity diagram, it's really allowed me to open my view of right and wrong, and there must be only one right answer, only one way. Because whole system collaborative change, it's a journey, and it requires that structure, but it also requires adaptability.